Shalom Akim. We give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and shalom to the elect that's pushing out this word throughout the four corners of the globe in sincerity and in the truth for the edification of the house of Dawadah, the hopeful elect. This is why we do these lessons. Shalom to you. This is your brother Shimon Ma from the DC camp. Hope you're in good spirits. And I hope that this lesson will be edifying. So when we get straight to the scriptures, reading from the book of Exodus, we're going to read Exodus, the 2nd chapter. And we're going to start at let's look at verse 20. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Talking about, let's go on so we get them. Verse 19, Exodus 2 and 19. And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, where is he? Why is it that you have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread. So for the great thing that he did, talking about Moses, the great thing that he did for the women at the well, the man, what's his name, Ruel, right? Ruel went to tell his daughters to come and let Moses break bread with him for the thing that they have done. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. This is the lesson for today, and I'm going to title this lesson, A Stranger in a Strange Land. A stranger in a strange land, because what we have to do when we get to the Old Testament, when we get to the New Testament, we have to understand who these strangers are. Exodus explains exactly who these strangers are, as well as other scriptures throughout the Old Testament. So people get bugged out when they hear this word stranger, thinking it's speaking about everyone but Israel. But Israel, or an Israelite, can be a stranger. There are some strangers that are not Israelites, that are of the other nations. And they will always be strangers or foreigners of the other nations. But an Israelite can be a stranger in his nation, coming from another nation, and being in someone else's nation, being a stranger. Rewind that back and understand what I said. Because when we look at the scripture, right, the definitions of the word, the first word I want to get is Gershom, right? Because the son that Moses' name was Gershom. It just means foreigner, right? The firstborn of Moses of Zipporah, right? Foreigner. That's what Gershom means. It said he bare his name, and he called his name foreigner. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. So let's get these two strange. One is stranger, for I have been a stranger, Hebrews 16:16 Gar. I have been a stranger, a sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights. So that stranger has to be an Israelite, because he does not have inherited rights of what? The land. Right? Or it could mean of foreigners in Israel, Israelite foreigners, though conceded rights. Like when you leave, you can't come back and have land. You conceded your land. Let's look up this word conceded. Because when you concede something, let's go to Edom Online. Concede, to make a concession of yield up, give away, yield, go away, depart, retire, agree, consent, give precedence, to go or give away. So what you did is gave away your rights. When you become a foreigner in Israel, you go away, you give up your land rights. Now you become a gar, a stranger. It's the simplest way to explain it. An Israelite goes away and concedes or gives away his rights to the land, no matter if it's in the land of Naphtali, in the land of Judah, in the land of Benjamin. If you gave up your rights to a land, you are a gar. You go away, and you come back, you're now a foreigner. You gar, right? Now, a stranger in a strange land. So this strange is not conceded rights, but this strange land, right, is Nakarya. Nakarya means alien or foreign, unknown, unfamiliar. So Moses named his son Gar or Gershom because he said that he was a foreigner, right, with no legal rights to the land in a strange land or an alien land to him. This is what it's saying. This is what stranger mean. The two different types of strangers. You have Gar and Nakar. We're going to go back, right? Nakarya, right? The root word right here, H2535 in the Strongs. Nakar, right? Disaster or misfortune. Stranger is when it's use, biblical usage is strange or stranger, in a strange land or stranger, right? This is what he's become. A stranger, a strange punishment, right, in Job 31. And then Obadiah 12, but thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. That's the most plain. This is a plain understanding of what stranger is. When you read Obadiah 12, Job 31 and 3 is great too. However, Obadiah 1 and 12 gives it very plain. But thou should have not, talking about Esau, Edom, because when you read the first and second verse, it's talking about Esau, Edom, so-called white man. But thou should have not, this is what Esau, his brother, should not have done to the nation of Israel, their brother, right? You should not have looked upon the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. You see? So Israel had become a stranger, right? You can become a stranger. Foreign to his brother. This is what Nakar is. He became foreign to Esau, Edom. He just threw his brother under the bus, literally, and hoped that he died. When the Babylonians came, this is what it's talking about. When the Babylonians came against Esau, against Judah, in the time of the Babylon captivity of the temple in the land of Jerusalem. You see? So let's get two examples. Let's get two examples. I have it written down of, just like Obadiah said, stranger, right? Of Nakar, because Nakar means to act or treat as a foreigner, strange, disguised, to misconstrue, to disguise oneself, to treat as foreign. 1 Kings, the 8th chapter, and starting at the 41st verse. It says, moreover, concerning a stranger that is not of thy people Israel, but cometh out of a far country for thy name's sake. For they shall hear of thy great name. That stranger is a foreigner, a Nakar. That's not of Israel. This is talking about other people, nations, because they say they come from a far country for Israel's namesake, or Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh's namesake, for the things that our power, Yahweh, and the Lord Yahweh Shai had done for Israel. They come check us out, or check Israel out, because of the great name that's bestowed upon us, which is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh. For they shall hear of thy great name, and of thy strong hand, and of thy stretched out arm, when he shall come and pray towards this house, talking about the house of Israel, talking about the temple. Hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth to thee for. All that the strangers or the foreigners want of you. It says, right, to do according to this stranger is going to do everything because of thy great name. It says that all people of the earth may know thy name. This is the Lord speaking about Israel. For what what the strangers hear about, they're going to come to you because of the things that Yahweh, our power, had done for us. And it's going to show. And it's going to show. Just imagine King Solomon's temple. When the foreigners like the Queen of Sheba, right, and all the other foreigners that came to give supplication to King Solomon, and the description of his temple was magnificent. People came from miles around just to hear a proverb from Solomon. All the wonderful things that the Lord had given Israel, Solomon. People came from miles around just to hear, just to see the wonder. You see? It says here that all people of the earth may know thy name, to fear thee, and to do and do thy people Israel, as do thy people Israel, and that they may know that this house which I have builded is called by thy name, Yahshua Allah, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakadash. This is the greatness that the other nations, the Nakarya, right, or the Nakar, the strangers, right, are going to show how great we are, why they came to our place, why they praising us, why they giving supplication to us, is because of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. They're the Nakar. One more scripture. Psalm 69 and verse 7 and 8. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach, shame hath covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren. I became a stranger unto my own people. This is King David. And an alien unto my mother's children. I just became foreign. I became foreign. Look at this word, just to be sure. Nakarya. I became an alien. Right? An alien unto my children, unto my mother's children. A Zawar. This is the other one, because You didn't become a Nakar. You become a Zawar or estranged, right? Like when a man and a woman who's married break up, they become estranged. They don't know each other no more. It's alien, but that's to each other, right? But an alien is in a car. I become an alien to my brothers, my mother's children. Nakarya, Zawar, and Nakarya. So that's three definitions, right? Used differently when it comes to being a stranger or an alien. Okay? Let's move on. Psalm 147 and 19. Real quick. Psalms 147 and 19 and verse 20. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He have not done so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So his law, statute, commandments, and all the information that we need as a people, as a culture, as a heritage, right? He didn't give it to any stranger. He only gave it to Israel. Whether we became a Zawar, whether we become aliens, or whether we become Gar. Because we could become strangers in a strange land. We could be strangers and aliens to our own people, right? And just strange, right? When it comes to what's going on with this word. Because the Lord can make you become, or you become an alien, right? Following other ways, you become a stranger even to the word. So it's very important to understand this word stranger, right? Because we're strangers today living in a strange land, under strange doctrines, wearing strange apparel, wearing strange idols, wearing strange clothing, wearing strange powers, wearing strange ways in life. Everything about us living, right, is strange to what we're supposed to be. Yahweh Shem Shah is looking on us and saying, who are we? Who is that? Is that my people? Right? What's that? Salakia. We became strange, look strange, act strange. Everything about us is strange. Right? Everything about us became strange. What was that, 2 and 24? Salakia. Dang. Salak, bear with me. We look different. We sound different. We speak different. We got on strange apparel. We become strangers to Yahweh Shem Shai. It says of Jeremiah 2 and 24, for of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou said, I will not transgress. Whereupon every high hill and under every green tree thou wandereth, playing the harlot. And it was a definition of strange being a prostitute. It says, yet I have planted thee a noble vine, right? We're supposed to be noble, holy, a right seed. However, then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me. What the hell happened? We became strange to Yahweh Shem Shai. Strange. Nakar, see? That's why we became foreign to what we were supposed to be. We were supposed to be noble, choice. But we turned, right? See, harlot, right? Foreign, a foreign woman or harlot, Nakarya, right? Of or being foreign, right? We became unknown and unfamiliar to Yahweh Shem Shai. Why did he plant a noble vine, but we turn out into a strange vine unto him? This is the question. You see? So we can become Nakarya, we could be Gar, or we could be Zawar. It just depends on the content of the scripture, right? Content of the scriptural definition of who that stranger is, what that stranger is, and how is he mentioned in these scriptures that you're reading, right? This is why I said, started off with Gershom, because Moses said, I'm going to name my son Gershom because I became a stranger in a strange land. I became this. And I'm going to name my son Gershom because he's foreign also. This is not our resting place, being in Egypt at the time with Moses. This is not our resting place today, living here in America. We supposed to be in the land of Jerusalem, right? Under our king, following orders, being a noble vine, not strange, not looking strange, not acting strange, not conceding rights of a land. We're not supposed to be none of that. All of the things that we're supposed to be, right, is the choice vine. Under the true vine, on the true vine, being pruned, being manicured, right? This is our proper place. Now, two scriptures on Gar, and I'm gonna close it out. Gar, the first time it's mentioned is in the book of Genesis, the 15th chapter, starting at the 13th and 14th verse. It says, "And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs." Right? We explained it. Gar. Look up the word. Stranger, Gar, right? A stranger or a temporary inhabitant of the land of Egypt, right? Because that's not our land. We became a temporary inhabitant in a land that is not ours, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Right? And also that nation whom they shall serve, I will judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance, the land of Egypt. We became a stranger in a strange land, but the Lord is going to judge that nation or that land, those people, the nation, the people who make up the land, who are possessors of that land, who made us to serve. He's going to judge. Exodus 12. Exodus 12, verse 43. Another example of Gar. "And Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, This is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof," right? "But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof." Let's look up this word for stranger. No stranger shall eat thereof. Nakar. No stranger, foreigner, that's of the other nations that you bought for money, right, shall not eat. But every man that is bought and then circumcised, then shall he eat. So the other nation can eat if he's bought for money and circumcised. There's rules to this. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall you break a bone thereof. But the point was, a foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat. So this, read it again, verse 43. And Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. Foreigner or hired servant, foreigner, thou a shab, a stranger, this stranger can't eat thereof. It says, distinguished from a native citizen, a temporary inmate, resident alien, foreigner, inhabitant, sojourner, stranger. This stranger is of another nation. It's real plain and real simple. Real plain and real simple. Let's go on to the next scripture, Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 and 1. It says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them. What type of stranger is them according to the context? Stranger. Gar. The strangers. The Gar. Israelites. Foreigners. This is who it's talking about. Shall be joined with them, and the strangers shall be joined with them. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. I don't want foreigners of another nation joined under me. I don't want them cleaving unto me. They got bad habits, bad ways. They're not circumcised. It's too much. They're too much. I gotta get the smell off them. I gotta wash their ass. I gotta do too much because you gotta stop them from eating goddamn roaches and rats. It's just too much. I don't want them cleaving near me. My people, you have mercy on your own people so they could cleave unto you and learn of your ways. You circumcise, you clean them up, you tell them the law, statute, commandments. Right? That's easy. That's our people. You have mercy on our people. But the other nations, I can't deal. It's too much. They too busy. It's just too much. The people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. This them, right, is not speaking about possessing Israel for handmaids and servants. No, that's talking about the other nations. You have to learn to understand that the content, right, of the scriptures turn and fluctuate because remember, Isaiah is talking about Babylon. Babylon. When you read the 13th chapter, it talks about the burden of Babylon and the things that's coming upon Babylon. The possession is never of your own people. To be a servant and a handmaid and take them captive. Whose captives they were. How are you going to be a captive of an Israelite? Makes no sense. Or Israelite foreigner. These strangers, not the strangers, them, right, that's going to be handmaids and servants, have to come from the other nations. Because our people didn't have us captives. Because it says we also going to rule over our oppressors. They shall rule over their oppressors. Who's going to rule? We going to rule. Israel's going to rule over our oppressors. That Gar, that stranger, is Israelite foreigners. When they come into our land and cleave unto Israel. Why? Because just like Cornelius was. He was cleaving unto Israel, had a good report against Israelites. He gave alms. He was cleaving unto Israel rules and regulations because he was an Israelite foreigner. This is the only way these verses can make sense when you know the content, right, of Yahweh Shem Yahshua's word. The Lord wants stumbling blocks put on people's understanding to who the scriptures talk about so they don't get it. Those who get it understand exactly who is speaking of and what is speaking to, because the content supersedes the regular old definition of a word. You must understand that. I don't want other nations cleaving unto me. No, they be over there. Let the taskmasters tell them what to do. I don't like people close. Last scripture. Isaiah 60. And 9. It says, surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy power, unto Yahweh thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers, shall build up thy walls. So, let's find out who stranger is. Strangers, Nakar, foreign, other nations, shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee, they serve. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, that their kings may be brought. Kings is going to be brought to us, not cleaving unto us. These foreigners, the Nakaryim, is going to be brought, like brought over, bring over, given, not cleaving. And all of their forces, all of their goods, all of their resources is going to be given to Israel. For the nation and the kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations, and don't get it twisted, nations is made up of people, shall be utterly wasted. The other nation is going to be utterly wasted. So that stranger, right, can't be amongst us through the salvation of our power, because this is kingdom we're talking about. These other nations is going to be wasted, so they can't receive salvation along with their nation being wasted. Get this last scripture just to prove that point. This is Revelation 2, 2 and 26. Let's start at 25. Yeah. Revelation 2 and 25. But that which you have already, hold fast till I come. This is the things that we have in the hold fast is the promises that was given to the nation of Israel, like what we just read in Isaiah, that the forces of the Gentiles and kings is going to be brought to us. Hold fast. These are the promises. Yeah, they may be kings now, but they're going to be servants in the kingdom of heaven. These nations may have us under their servitude, but the tide is going to change. We're going to be trading places. We're not going to be strangers on our land. They're going to be strangers. They always going to be Nakarya, because they're going to be strangers of another nation in a strange land, which is Israel, that's not theirs. Okay? They can never become Gar. They can never become Zawar. They can never become that. The other nations is always Nakar. Okay? It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Okay? So if a so-called Gentile or of another nation believe on Christ, it says, to him will I give power over the nations, right? So that means you're a Gentile, a foreigner, not of Israel, is going to have power over your own nation. And this person who they believe, these spiritual Israelites, is going to have power over their own nation, right? And he's going to rule his own nation with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall his nation be broken into shivers. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. So a Christian believer who believes he's a spiritual Israelite is going to have power over his own nation, beat his own nation with a rod of iron till they be broken. His own people. His own people. That don't make sense. Learn biblical usage. Learn content. Learn scriptural definitions of these words that trip people over. Gentile, foreigner, stranger, Greek, all, we, us. Learn biblical usage, right? And scriptural definitions of these words, these pronouns, because other nations and other people who believe think they're part of the whole, but they're not part of the whole unless they're willing to beat their own nations to shivers. Like a pot is broken with an iron vessel, like a rod of iron. They're gonna be broken to shivers. If they believe that, and if they truly believe that, right? You better check. You better check and double check why he believes that, because he may be Gar. You see? If he truly believed that, no matter what he looked like, he's willing to beat his own people, broken, who he thought was his own people. See, that's the catch. Who he thinks is his own people, because we got people in camps that look like other nations and read these scriptures. They're not of those people. They're not of those people. They may look like it, but they're not. They are Gar. They are Israelite foreigners, not Nakar. All right. Hopefully this was an edifying lesson. There's a lot to think about, a lot to consider, a lot to ponder on. Learn these biblical usages, these names and pronouns, and different descriptions of people, and how they relate to salvation and in the scriptures. Okay. Till next time, Shalom.